Not every trip to West Lafayette has to be torture. Ohio State 41, Purdue 7. Welcome into the notebook. Ryan Day just finished up right here. This is where the post-game press conference is. Hey, shout out to Purdue. Look around in here. I thought I was going to have to complain about being uncomfortable for the media. Look what they've done. A spacious room for everyone in the Ohio State media to fit in and have a great press conference. Shout out to Purdue. Fantastic job. Luxurious press box. We were able to get in with our credentials, no problem. So here we go. I don't know what's going on here. What? Ohio State is a winner, 41-7. We are making a dash. So the one inconvenient part of this, as we're going right now, Ryan Day, this side of the stadium, Ohio State's locker room on that side. We have not talked to any players. Ohio State is trying to get out of West Lafayette as quickly as possible. They are flying, so they're worried about some weather. So they didn't bring any players over to the Ryan Day press conference. There may be one or two over here that we can talk to, and we'll include that in the notebook here on the podcast this time. But an interesting sort of post-game setup. And really, I mean, the game itself was never in doubt. It's 41-7. Ohio State did good things on both sides of the football, but the conversation was going to be about the injuries anyway. So maybe better for some of these players that they don't have to talk just about what happened to Denzel Burke in the second half. The fact that Chip Trayanum apparently suffers a concussion, that's not something that they're going to identify specifically, but he comes out of the game. And then Ohio State is without Travion Henderson, who was held out with that upper body injury, Mayan Williams, who was not available, Emeka Egbuka, who was out. And so Dallin Hayden was inserted into this game. I thought he ran really effectively, gave the offense a spark. One of the things that Ryan Day said there in the postgame, they're going to have to look at that plan, playing 4 games, and they wanted to redshirt him. That may not be possible, and this was always a possible outcome. We talked about it a year ago. They were stretched so thin. That's why Dallin Hayden played in those games in November. It's tough to survive a full season healthy in the Big Ten at running backs. You need Caden Curry right here, getting some celebrations before getting on the bus. Curry family all celebrating. Nice day for them. 41-7. All right. Caden Curry playing another fair amount of snaps for Ohio State defense. 3 missed field goals contributed a little bit there. All right, we do have Donovan Jackson out here. Who else do we have? Devin Brown. So we'll see if we can pop in there.
What makes you a weapon? I think they have to honor me. I mean, when I got in the game, they're instantly like 33s in, as soon as I get in there, they're thinking I'm running it or something like that, but I can also hurt them with the pass game as well.
What feels better, the rushing touchdown or that throw to Brady?
I think the rushing touchdown felt a little bit better because it was my first rushing touchdown in college and felt good to lower my shoulder and get one in.
What happened on the fumble?
On the fumble, just didn't bolt it up. Helmet went right on the ball. Kind of just was underneath me and just popped right out.
The pass to Ennis, man, just take us through. I mean, to Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw it was cover 0, I knew I had Brandon right there and just made a good play.
What does that do for you and what does that do for him?
I think it just builds confidence. I think, especially him being a younger guy, he knows like he can go out there and do it against high-level teams, and he just got to keep building every week.
Oh, you ever hand the ball off? Is that part of the scheme too? Do you ever hand off?
Yeah, it definitely is. When I have the right read, yeah.
Devin, when did you know that this package might be in for this particular week?
This week. Okay. I mean, early in the week, we knew it was going to go in.
How long have you guys been thinking about this, working on it, getting reps for a situation like this?
I mean, every week we kind of rep it knowing that I could be a possibility in the run game, so it's just kind of week to week.
So what do you tell your parents?
So, Devin Brown talking a little bit about that package. As Ohio State wraps up a real free-for-all over here. I'm going to get this microphone back on and check out some cold canes for Ohio State this week. Nothing better than soggy fries to go through. Donovan Jackson. Let's see if we can get him. As we wrap up. Yeah, we'll talk about Caden. Well, I don't think we're supposed to grab him. Donovan.
Oh, no. I can't stop right there.
You got to.
You got to dab me up a little bit.
two more seconds on. I saw you standing over there. I don't want to keep you from your canes too long.
It's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, do you like it with the slaw? What's your order normally?
Or normal, it's a caniac combo, no slaw.
No
That's
slaw.
a waste of time.
That's
and
right.
I get extra fries, and I just tear into that.
Okay. About the football game itself and not the chicken.
Okay.
Coach Day said he's going to watch the film, but he felt like today was a step in the right direction for you five up front. I know the last week or so probably wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world for you all, but how did it feel for you? Was this more like what you guys expect, or do you have to watch it too?
I mean, the Iron Sky don't lie. We'll watch the film. I'm sure there's tons of things we got to clean up on, but just being on the field and moving the ball a couple times, getting a couple of big X plays on the ground, it felt good. Our message to our unit this week was just hands inside and run your feet. So we're so worried about being perfect that at the end of the day, like trying to be perfect gets us in bad situations. So if we just run off the ball and be great athletes that we are, because at the end of the day, like we came to this university to be great athletes, and so I feel like that got lost in the sauce a little bit. So at the end of the day, we just got to run off the ball, and that's I feel like we accomplished that a little bit today.
So everybody talked about Ohio State's rough history at Purdue, and it's not fun to travel here. It seemed fine, right? There's no issues here.
I mean, I was like 2018. I was like in 10th grade, so that didn't really apply to me. But it was definitely a BYOJ mission. Bring your own juice, and I feel like all the guys, the support staff, strength coaches, they brought the juice today, and they got us fired up to play this football game.
All right, go dig into the cane sauce.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for stopping down. Yep. All right, so nice to grab that there, Donovan Jackson. A nice day for the offensive line. Perfect day? No, don't know that we can make that claim necessarily. Jerry giving some updates in here.
It's been out there for 20 minutes.
I think they're probably going to call it in terms of the availability, but we'll hang around here just in case. We won't bother him again this week. They're all trying to, so again, the reason they're trying to get out of here is concerns about the weather. Oh, Kyle McCord's jumping in, so I guess we'll get another quarterback as well.
Fast in practice, and I think that definitely translates to the game. Got out. I mean, we weren't perfect by any means, but got out, put some points on the board, and obviously the defense did a good job. So just how can we continue to build on that?
You saw your buddy score. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, no, I mean that's sweet for him to get all the attention he gets and still be able to put out numbers regardless of what they're trying to do to him.
What makes Devin a threat in that new role?
Yeah, I mean, obviously got some good time today, and I think he did a really good job with it. Just was a threat with his feet, and then made a really sweet pass there at the end. So I think that's just the type of player. He's a complete quarterback.
Is this the step forward you needed from the offensive line this week against Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, especially up front today, it was a lot of one-on-one blocks across the board, especially in pass protection. I think they did a really good job and gave me enough time to make them pay down the field. And if teams are going to continue to try to do that to us, I think this was a good sign that we can handle it.
Kyle, you're at the halfway point, 6-0, headed into Penn State. It's obviously where you wanted to be. Do you feel like you're ready for that?
Yeah, I mean that was the goal coming into the season is 6-0, and obviously a big test next week. So we're gonna continue to prepare, and we know what it's gonna be next week.
Coming off the bench. Obviously, Chip went down and Down had to come in.
Yeah, I mean, running back room I think showed that last year and again this year how deep they are, and Down stepped up and I think did a really good job. And obviously, it stinks that Chip got pretty banged up there, but kind of next man up mentality, and Down was ready for it.
Is this team ready for next week's challenge?
Guys?
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Mike Bassford and Jerry Emick shutting it down. They're going to give some of the canes out to the media, so you're about to watch a real feeding frenzy here. Watch this. Everybody wanting to go grab that. Herm, did you pick the playlist in here? Got some Zach Bryan in the celebratory locker room. Oh, I guess you're going to see Berm sprint over and get some canes. No, there is not. All right. Interesting, wild setup, but that's what it looks like in a bit of a scramble here at Purdue. So let's get into some of that on the notebook as we walk around here. This was the setup. You see Buckeyes heading to the bus. They want to get out of here. People heading out of here. All right, try and regroup. That was a bit of a scramble. I apologize for that. Truck getting loaded up, rain coming down a little bit right now, so I don't even want to go out there and take a look at it. Berm's doing enough out there in some of the rough weather. Dallin Hayden, start with that, big day. Jermaine Matthews, he had kind of set the tone with a really good first half on special teams. I thought he noticed he made 2 big tackles. Then he's got to go into the game in the second half playing at cornerback with Denzel Burke out. So you've seen, Davison Igbinosun, he moved over there. He played on the boundary. And then you had Jermaine Matthews and Jordan Hancock both getting some reps on the field side at corner. The touchdown in the second half for Purdue did come when Denzel Burke was out. A lot of subs, a lot of rotation was going on. Ohio State was in control of the game. They weren't really stressed. It was not a high leverage situation for them anymore. And the attention was starting to turn to Penn State. And especially, I think you see situations like Denzel Burke getting hurt, Chip Trayanum suffering that injury. Ohio State wants to wrap it up and get out of town and get ready for Penn State. You can understand why. So there were a lot of opportunities. I think it's interesting to watch this game. And I won't call it any part of a mixed bag performance. I think it's you take any 34-point win on the road you can get. But there were unusual things like Marvin Harrison with 3 drops. You saw the 3 missed field goals from Purdue that could have also gone the other way and made the game a little bit closer. So it was just a little bit of as strange of a game as you can get for 41-7. What does it mean in terms of good or bad? I don't know. You just have to get through a Saturday like this, the awkward, sort of part through the schedule, where you want to get to Penn State. You already beat Purdue or Maryland. You've given them, some credit as a legitimate opponent. So don't want to overlook a situation like this. I don't think Ohio State did. They came out, they started fast. Everybody wanted to see that. They showed some creativity with the red zone packages with Devin Brown. One worked with a touchdown, one didn't with the fumble. That'll be something I asked Ryan Day about that in the post game that you have to look at and evaluate how much do you want to use it. I think you can understand why they want to have the run element, even up some of the numbers, equate those in the red zone, because they've been looking for an answer. That provided one. You don't want to just take away the opportunity from Devin Brown permanently because of one mistake, because you could see there was an element of danger in it. Purdue didn't seem really prepared for it. If nothing else, Penn State has to think about that for next week. You can put that on film. I thought it was the only part that was odd to me was if you're going to go out there and throw in the red zone, Kyle McCord is the best passer on this team. He's the quarterback. That was nearly intercepted. The second time they went into that package that led to the fumble, it was nearly an interception before that. So that's fine. I mean, you're always going to, learn, and getting reps is important. And a lot of guys did that for Ohio State today. So, I think, what Berm said, Caden McDonald with the first play, even in the pregame, I had some people come over to me and say, there's a name that's coming up an awful lot in staff meetings right now, and it's Caden McDonald. And then see why. He got in the game in a couple of situations, mostly late, impactful player, opportunities for there. You take advantage of it. Maybe that means that it grows later on in the year, but you can see some of that coming on. That's true for Dallin Hayden. That is true for Caden McDonald. It was definitely true for Jermaine Matthews. So it's an interesting game. Like, it wouldn't have necessarily happened for all of those guys without injuries. And so that part you don't want to gloss over. Ohio State needs to be at full strength for Penn State. They need Emeka Egbuka. Travion Henderson being back in there is important, although Dallin Hayden definitely provided that spark. Chip Trayanum, you want to make sure that he gets healthy in a hurry after that. Mayan Williams, when Ryan Day thinks that they're all going to be back by this time next week, that's a pretty standard thing for him to say on a Saturday, but we'll see. Ohio State does have to monitor 4 or 5 key injuries going into next week. Here we go again with flying stuff at Purdue. So I don't know what else to say about it on the notebook, because I would rather get out of town myself, just like the Buckeyes are. So 41-7, let's put a bow on that. Enjoyed the hospitality in West Lafayette in Indiana, the 3rd visit for the Buckeyes over to the Hoosier State this year. They are 3-0 here. They are 6-0 on the season, and they have a huge showdown coming up next week against Penn State. Battle of the unbeatens there in the Horseshoe. Can't wait for that one. It is a massive showdown. This one is in the books, though. Ohio State wins 41-7 over Purdue at Purdue. Thanks for joining us on the Notebook on the podcast. We'll be back next week after the Penn State game.